Hello everybody, this is Module 5, and in this module we're covering Chapter 9, Pro-Social Behavior, and Chapter 10, Aggression. Here's your to-do list for the module, and if you'll notice, you're going to have a special opportunity for extra credit, a chance to gain a few extra points, which are added to your overall points for the class at the end. So we'll get into that in just a moment, but definitely this is not going to come along often. This may be the only extra credit, so you want to take advantage of it while it's here. Here are your chapter objectives for Chapter 9. Pro-social behavior involves basically any behavior that's going to help another person. Now that can be things like bystander intervention or just basic volunteering and acting in a way that's going to benefit another person, even though you do not get any benefit from it or may even put yourself in danger because of it. So we're going to work through a lot of the theory behind pro-social behavior as well as altruism. Two linked but different concepts. You're going to read more about altruistic behavior in the extra article readings, so we'll get to that in just a moment. But looking at first bystander intervention in terms of why do we act to help another person in an emergency situation, and why do we not? What prevents us from acting or helping? How does that depend on different factors like the situation, one's own internal motivation, as well as your emotional state. Here, the concept of pluralistic ignorance is going to come back up, especially in what's called diffusion of responsibility, which is what happens when people don't act in a given emergency situation because they assume others will act. So really nothing is done. And a lot of that's due to pluralistic ignorance. So I want you definitely looking at linking some of what you've already learned there to understanding this other area and topic of diffusion of responsibility. We're going to be doing some discussion about these different hypotheses as to why people help. This is part of the article reading, and it's part of your discussion question, so you want to spend some time getting to know these different hypotheses. And then we're going to go on and keep looking at some different aspects of the individual that may prohibit or promote motives for volunteering. So that's pretty much what that chapter entails, and then we get into Chapter 10, which is aggression. And basically looking at theories of aggression. Where does it come from? What are the origins? What are the individual factors, environmental factors? We're going to look at theories behind aggression, like evolutionary theory, as well as frustration aggression hypothesis, and some various realms in which aggression is applied, because again we want to look at the applied aspect of it. So workplace bullying, bullying in general, in maybe the educational setting, punishment, things like that, as well as some gender differences in aggression. Why are men and women different when it comes to the way aggression is expressed? How is that changing culturally in America, and some of that. Okay, so article readings for Module 5. You've got the 2 again, and then you have your lecture slides, and there's several videos this week aside from the ones that are in Revel, but a lot of these are short, very brief clips to get you kind of thinking and stirring up thought. This video clip has to do with bystander intervention, which was kind of brought into play as a concept and idea from the Kitty Genovese case back in the 60s. And you're going to listen to Latne and Darley, who are social psychologists, and they're the ones who sort of not invented, but brought out this idea of bystander intervention and kind of the causes of it and diffusion of responsibility. So that's a short video clip about that. And then another case of bystander intervention, but a different study that was done called the smoke-filled room study. There is no sound on this video, so just be aware of that. You're just going to watch what happens and compare. And again, I always give you questions and get you thinking, making sure that you're getting the key points as you're watching the videos. Another case of bystander intervention, would you stop to help a child? This is a mock child abduction. It's kind of done in the style of What Would You Do? The show What Would You Do? Where they stage a mock child abduction and they kind of see people's reactions. And so you want to be thinking about the theories behind why people do and don't help to maybe help to understand what's going on there in that scenario. And then a little bit longer video, about 30 minutes, and this is accessed through the library's database, Films on Demand. So you have to go into the WSU library database, look at databases alphabetically. If you go to F, you'll see Films on Demand, or you can just type it in the search box. You have to access it that way because it requires your password to get in. It's a privilege to have access to this database, and it's done through WSU, so that's the way you have to go in and get it. And once you're in the database, Films on Demand, you're going to go ahead and type in America the Rude, and it will pull it right up, and you can watch it. Lots of interesting stuff and things that you're going to be integrating into your discussion, so take good notes on that one. And then these three are very quick little short clips that I found dealing with aggression in particular, the modeling of aggression, showing you the effects that it has on children as they're seeing aggression in their environment. What happens in those situations? Is aggression learned? It goes back to a lot of the theories that Bandura proposed and found to be significant in the modeling of aggression. I put in a movie trailer. This kind of brings into play gender and aggression. Is it changing? How are we seeing more female aggression, more so today than ever before? And what might be the effects of that? And then lastly, this is kind of tying it all in together. Bystander apathy and electronic devices in a situation where aggression is displayed. So a case where somebody is getting really hurt, nobody does anything, and it's due to sort of everyone wanting to capture it on their mobile phones. So that'll end the videos. Again, there's also the ones in Revel that you don't want to miss. And then that brings us to our discussion for the week. And there's 3 questions, so it's a little bit more in depth this week for this module 5. And again, great job. Most everybody did a really great job on the last module. I just noticed a lot more integration of the concepts and showing off sort of how you're using the material to show me what you know. However, there's still a few of you who are maybe not putting as much time and effort into these postings. So if you're looking to really, score a good score on these posts, you want to be thorough in each question. Make sure you read the whole question. If I ask you for examples, if I ask you to back it up with research and cite support from the readings, then that's really what I want to see. I want to see you using the hypotheses that you're learning about to help support your ideas. I want you giving evidence whenever possible from the readings, and not just from the articles, but from the text. Because again, the articles are just meant to highlight what you're learning in the text, to bring out special topics that are really interesting. So I'm hoping that with these questions you're able to do that. So definitely take time on that this week. And then here is exam 5 and the extra credit. And the extra credit's going to be worth 5 points. It's going to be due on the 15th. And it's basically doing a good deed. It's called a random act of kindness. It can be anything for anyone, but it needs to be something outside your norm. So I want you looking for an opportunity to do something nice for someone without the expectation of anything in return. This can be something very simple, or you can go out of your way to do something for someone. But it needs to be more than just like opening a door for someone or, giving someone a ride somewhere. I mean, those are great things, but try to think of something outside your norm, something you wouldn't normally do for another person. It kind of stretch yourself a little bit. I give an example of paying for someone in the drive-through behind you. That's just a very basic, simple thing that you can do. And definitely that is not something that you need to do. I'm just using it as an example, but it could be any one of a number of things. You can decide what it is you want to do. And when you do that, you're going to go to the assignment link right here, and you're just going to click on it. And that's going to take you to a page where you type in what you did. You're just going to tell me what it is you did, how it made you feel. Were you present for the person's reaction? If so, how did the person react? What was the expectation? Any of that. Okay, so pretty easy extra credit opportunity worth 5 points. So I really look forward to reading about it. This is a fun thing I like to do. I always like to hear what people are doing, and I think we could use a lot more of this going on in our society. So great way to integrate helping behavior into your week. So that concludes Module 5. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me.